looted from VBS. Well, our colleague and reporter Michael Apple is in the studio with us, and he's been tracking this story for us. Well, that much-awaited EFF briefing happened yesterday. When you stand back, like 24 hours later almost, do you think the EFF made the right arguments about how they are responding to this report?
I certainly think they did. To the party's credit, Julius Malema said, "Bring me evidence and I will act." This is not unheard of. This is a principle that any political party will use when one of its members is been accused of wrongdoing. And the onus is on its media houses and the media that have been running with these stories. The onus is on the media. He says, I can only act if you give me the documentation. And it was literally like he was begging the journalists, give me the documentation and I will act. This is what he had to say at that press briefing yesterday.
Please, even if you don't want to give us the evidence you have, because it might have been obtained illegally, just give us the dates. Or on the 10th of June, 2017, 200,000 went into his account. This is the account number. We will give it to him. And then he will have to come and then prove it to us. And he's got the right to tell us, I won't do it. Because anyway, the honors are on us to prove to him. So we'll just use you as the basis. Oh, no, but we got information from a journalist that on such a date you got the money. Give us the statement of that date.
So provide us with the evidence and then we will act accordingly. At the face of it, from what we know now, this is the message I'm getting from the EFF. We can't really do much, but what we know is what we have.
Yeah, that's it. And until somebody or some organization comes and puts that evidence down before them, there is logically nothing that they can do at the moment. What's interesting that also came out of yesterday's press conference was the EFF maintaining the line that they want to save the bank. They wanted recapitalized. They used African Bank and the collapse of that bank. A couple of years back, 2015 I think it was, 80 billion rand was lost there. 2 billion rand looted here. They're saying, why are we calling this the Great Bank Heist when 80 billion rand was lost there? The curator in that case came with the check, I'm paraphrasing what Floyd Shivambu said, and said we're going to recapitalize to the value of 10 billion rand, and they saved that bank today. They owe their existence today to that 10 billion
I remember
rand.
They were looking at the good side of the African Bank and said that good side can be saved, and then it was recapitalized. So they are trying to make an argument that this time around, for a lesser amount perhaps,
yes.
I don't know how these numbers work, we should be able to save VBS Bank.
Well, they say that there's the narrative that they're driving here, and it's plain for everybody to see, is that there is some greater will to make sure that VBS collapses. And they say that from 2014 to 2018, that the South African Reserve Bank and Treasury and the Prudential authorities were signing off on the financials, saying that there is adequate liquidity within the bank. Then 2016, 2017 comes, and they say a sudden decision is made to tell all the municipalities to withdraw their money, which collapses the bank, therefore opening the door for Nedbank to come in and guarantee the deposits to the value of 336 million, because Floyd Shivambu says Nedbank never got a foothold in Limpopo. This was a way for them to do that. So they are saying that the finger should be pointed at Treasury, at the South African Reserve Bank for not doing their jobs. But of course, where does KPMG come into all of this?
I was about to say, as a Reserve Bank, as a prudential authority or market conduct authority, you get a report from that player in the financial services, from that bank, and then you look at the report, and the report should have been signed off by the auditors as well, and you, at the face of it, you trust it. But they are saying there should be more done. Victor Khomoiswana, an independent analyst, told us earlier this morning he believes that the Reserve Bank should take a lesson out of this and say you don't just have to really be strict on the big banks, the smaller players as well, you need to focus on them.
Yeah, that's true. And you're going to get to a point where if you cannot trust your external auditors, which are supposed to be completely independent. VBS had internal auditors. We've seen from the report that the PwC auditors said that the final financial statements did not reflect what they were coming across. So if you have an audit company, an audit firm that is actively colluding, allegedly, through Sipho Malaba, is actively colluding and receiving financial loans and so on that he should not have been getting, it's almost impossible for the South African Reserve Bank not to be blindsided, which is the term that Advocate Terry Matau used in an interview. The bank was blindsided. It had no idea what was going on inside VBS.
Thanks, Mike. It's going to be interesting to see how those powers that be respond to the call for the recapitalization of VBS, and VBS Bank and some of those points. Thank you very much, partner.